Blizzard just rushed out an emergency response to Season 3. If you've been following the videos I've been doing covering Season 3, you're going to know I tried to start somewhat positive, saying the things I like about it. And at the end of it, you could see sort of the reality sink in as I realized I'm extremely bored playing Season 3 and decided I'm no longer going to be streaming this season until Season 4. I did see that they rushed out an emergency patch related to this, so I got curious and I started digging to see what the response was. To my interest, it actually seemed like the response had been overwhelmingly well received in the same subreddit that was flaming it just recently. So I got curious and I thought, let's look into the patch and let's actually see exactly what was going on, because I myself have been fairly critical about the season. And I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to be redeemable, and I'm still not sure, in my opinion, that it is, at least for me personally, in terms of me wanting to log in and play. But it does seem like a lot of people that have had the opinion that it was unenjoyable are now saying it is enjoyable. So let's look into it and see exactly what is going on with the roller coaster that has been Diablo 4 Season 3. I took a peek in here onto the subreddit, and if I pull this up for you, if you guys remember, we're talking about how flaming the subreddit is, and it's Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. But myself, I literally just made a video talking about, like, I can't play this, it's exceptionally boring. So I was going to stream Power Worlds that day. I'm still going to stream Power World, by the way. But there was me moving on. Other people are kind of feeling in the same boat here. And so they put out an emergency patch. Now, I can see this from the subreddit. I got curious. I'm thinking, what do people actually think about this? And as you go through, take back everything I said, this guy's positive about it. I started scrolling through. I'm having fun again. And a lot of these people that were making complaints before, my vaults are better than Nightmare Dungeons. Kind of scroll through here, hot take, but the vaults feel more fun than Nightmare Dungeons after the patch. We're starting to see a lot of positive response. So what I did was I went and I looked at these patch notes, and I thought I would kind of break down exactly for you what they're doing in order to attempt to save the season. So we have the Echo of the Malphus. All right. Now, the Echo of the Malphus, what they ended up doing was they added this new item, the Igneous Cores here. Igneous Cores, I guess, is actually probably the way to say that, which instead of the vaults, one of my complaints was that, look, you just run to the end in the vault. It's unexciting content. I'm bored actually doing it because you just run through, you ignore putting the warding on at all, because the pros are actually needed in order to open up the Echo of Malphus. So I don't really engage with the actual mechanic of the seasonal mechanic, and that makes it for me dead content. But they actually ended up doing this here is they changed it where the pearls are no longer needed for the Echo. So if you were going to be doing the Echo, you actually run the vault now in order to get the cores that would then allow you to do the Echo. The Echo itself has actually been buffed, so it is more of in-game content now, level 100, and they increase the health of it instead of early mid-game content to give you an idea. These cores also have a chance to drop from the Vault Heralds and are guaranteed drop from Son of Malphus in World Tier 4. He does show up in the overworld, so you could actually get some of these without running vaults, technically, if you really wanted to. They drop from the Heralds as well. So they're trying to basically make more loot pinatas. One of the things that people were complaining about was that the Son of Malphus is basically a super annoying guy with tons of health with not really any rewards around it. So they are attempting to address that portion of feedback. There's a loot update as well, that Malphus now doubles the percentage that he was dropping for the unique stones before, and unique stones now have a 3% chance of dropping from the chest after the boss as well. Defeating the Echo of Malphus will also reward more legendary items and more items related to 925 to fit the fact that they moved him to 100. So this is actually addressing of a lot of the complaints that we were actually seeing prior. But let's continue to look and actually see what is going on. The Senecio here, they've received feedback. This basically states that the Senecio becomes more powerful as it reaches max levels, but we've noticed players have not had a chance to level up their Senecios enough to experiencing this. We are introducing multiple changes to ensure players have more sources to earn governing and tuning stones that they can level up. Basically, they're saying people are quitting the season before they actually get to the part that makes this pet strong, and they're attempting to change that. This was actually one of the points I said before, which is that, look, even if the pet is quite good at the end of it, which I don't think it really was, from what I can see. Rob is a great example of this. He's level 100, still didn't seem very good. But even if the pet is good, let's just say it was, at the end of it, by the time you hit level 100 and have done basically everything and leveled up all the way in the Nightmare Dungeons over and over, and Paragon Glyphs are done because you've been doing so many vaults in order to get the tombstones to level it, the pet itself is no longer needed because you've completed basically that season already. So it's a capstone of completion of the season when you could have actually used that power along the way. So they're sort of taking that sort of feedback and introducing more updates to make the pet stronger earlier, and this is how they are doing that. So crafting a governing or tuning stone will always cost 200 shatter stones and 20 iron chunks regardless of level. Finding a max level will also grant to 150 to 200. So if you level up another one and then you get that one dropped again, you immediately convert it to Shatterstone, so you can use that to build something else. Governing and tuning stones can now be acquired as a reward for completing whispers. This is a big one because let's say I, for instance, don't want to engage with the seasonal mechanics, which I don't. And by the way, if you're curious, oh, does this suddenly make me come back and play the game? No, I'm actually still not going to stream the game currently in its iteration, just because the seasonal mechanics are the part that I'm bored from. These rewards are good because it actually will make a reason to do the mechanics, but I'm not terribly interested in the traps, at least for the instance. So I'm still going to be streaming other things. However, if you look at this, they did actually change the way the governing and tuning stones can be acquired for completing it from whispers. So now I can basically just do whispers, ignore some of the mechanic if I want in order to actually get the stones, for instance, and just ignore the rest of it unless I wanted to do like the Echo of Malphas. The Son of Malphas now always drops 2 to 3 governing and tuning stones. The stones awarded from the stone caches have been increased from 1 to 2 stones. So we're just seeing buffs across the board. They're basically trying to flood some dopamine in there in order to save the season. Experiments requirements have been reduced so they can be ranked up more naturally with your leveling experience. AKA, let's not make people run thousands of vaults in order to level up your stones. Vaults and arcane trimmers. So the vaults are a part which now people are seeming to see as a positive. The arcane trimmers were the parts I already liked, and I was more not so interested in the vaults. If we continue here, multiple quality of life changes to players' experience in the vaults and trimmers. Consuming a pearl of warding at the statue of Zone Cool now grants 10 stacks of the warding instead of 3. The max stats of the warding have been increased from 300 to 999. Grace period for losing stacks of the warding when hit by multiple has been increased from 1 to 1.5 seconds. AKA, if you get hit multiple times with the darts, is what they're saying, you're going to only lose 1 stack instead of 3. This was another common complaint, like there's no immunity timing or anything. After you get hit, you can just drop stacks very quickly. Heralds of Malphas now drop a guaranteed legendary item starting at 26 with a 15% chance to drop another one. They're adding loot pinatas. I think basically what's going on is like, okay, people don't like the seasonal mechanic maybe so much, but if we put enough loot in there, they might enjoy the loot they get from the seasonal mechanic in order to make it more enjoyable. Knockback has been removed from Obelisk. This was highly annoying. If you're in the overworld, you're just like constantly getting knocked back while attempting to do these events. Chests will now also appear after, or the chest will now appear after completing a vault's ending encounter. These chests will drop a guaranteed legendary item with a 35% chance to drop another legendary item. So again, more loot, more dopamine at the end of it. Projectile speed from elemental dart hazards has been reduced by 20%. The hitbox for floor-based elemental grate and spike hazards have been reduced by 15%. The spout hitbox for elemental pillars has been reduced by roughly 15%. So some changes basically and quality of life changes to things that have been highly annoying and putting people off the season, myself included. Some of these were reasons that I was annoyed. Obelisks would actually be one of these. After reading this, the rest is bug fixes here. Not going to go into the bug fixes. I normally don't. But if we go through here and you just want my hot take like, hey, DM, you just quit the season. So as somebody who just quit the season and is not interested in the seasonal mechanics, how do you feel about this? My feedback to that, if you're wondering, would basically be this, is that I'm not really a huge fan of the pet, and I'm not really a huge fan of the vaults. I liked the overall campaign and story. That was something I've already said. So as it stands, the seasonal mechanics are already, the cat is out of the bag. These are what these seasonal mechanics are for this. I'm not a big trap guy. I'm not interested in that. So while they added more dopamine and loot to it, the seasonal mechanics are still sort of the same. I don't see myself logging back in its current iteration, even if people are now enjoying the season, as I didn't really like the seasonal mechanics. But to be fair, these are good changes, and these are pretty much all changes that are directly related to exactly what people were saying is a problem with the season. So we have some pretty positive feedback here. As I showed you on the Reddit, people seem to be like pretty positive about this season. Maybe redeem the vault rework, feels good, etc. Just tried my first vault. Coincidentally, I think I tried my last vault. So not everyone, but this was before the patch actually hit. So looks like there's some hope for Season 3 yet. If you're somebody who hasn't played the season because you've seen all the negativity, maybe you can give it a shot, see what you think about it. It looks like they are trying to implement changes quickly based upon feedback, and this is a surprising quick patch that seems to be well received. That's overall just what I'm seeing related to the patch. I'm going to go live, however, for a different game, Power World, and I will see you. I'm doing a hardcore Power World run, and I'm going to continue to play that because I'm still having fun with that. So for me, still going to play what I'm enjoying, which is a different game. But this at the moment seems like a pretty good patch if you're interested in Season 3.